going on, y'all? So, Vin Diesel just came out and said the last final movie for the Fast and Furious franchise will be coming out April of 2027. And you know what? I'm glad this is the last movie, because they didn't milked it. You know, supposedly they're going back to LA, they're returning back to LA, and they're going back to the roots, the street racing. And that's kind of good. I'm kind of happy that they're doing that. They're also bringing back Brian O'Connor, Paul Walker, for this film, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to 10 out of 10 times they're going to use AI, to get Brian O'Connor back into the film. At this point, I've been done with the Fast and Furious franchise. I kind of stopped watching the Fast and Furious franchise when it got to, I believe, the seventh film, I believe. But they didn't made their money. I'm not going to even sit here and lie. I enjoy I enjoyed watching the Fast and Furious franchise growing up. The first one was good. The second one was good. The third one, Tokyo Drift. I mean, nah, they went to they did some cartel heist, and then the fourth film they did Tokyo Drift. Fifth film they went to Cuba, something like that. Then the sixth film, I can't remember. And then the seventh film, it kind of just. I think the seventh film is the one that made the most money, or the fifth film. It was either the fifth or sixth or seventh film. 5 through 7, they made. I believe they made the most money, but the rest of the films, I don't think they did that great. I think the fifth film did good because that was the boom of Dodge at that point, because that's when the Fast and Furious franchise started introducing Dodge products into their uh, movies. So I think the 5 through 7, those are the ones that actually made the most money. And I would think 5 through 7, those are probably the most exciting films. I would say Fast Five was probably the most exciting, adventurous, action-packed movie. All the rest of them, they were okay, but fifth one I think is the best one out of the whole franchise. But them going back to the roots, I would say for this last film, they definitely need to bring back Ja Rule out of all the films. Bringing back those characters that actually made the franchise what it is. I mean, you got the regular guys like Tyrese, Ludacris, and all them, but bringing back some of those sub characters like Ja Rule and Hector and all those guys from LA, and also bringing back some people from Miami. That would be kind of dope. Maybe bringing them to the forefront. I think that would be dope, highlighting some of those mid characters that weren't really the shine of the franchise, bringing them back for this last one. I think that would be dope. Going back to that Hollywood esque type of filming, you know, if they do, and not this whole going to space and all this type of stuff, and using the military and all. I think this kind of like over with. I think they kind of overdid it. Me personally, with the whole military space and all that type of stuff, I think they kind of went overkill with it. But I mean, when you're making money in Hollywood, I mean, why not just milk the franchise, because it's about family. But at this point, I think getting back to the roots of how movies are supposed to be, like the early 2000s, of what actually made movies actually great, I think that would be really good for this last and final movie. But yeah, bringing back Ja Rule would be dope. But like I said, after this last movie, I'm sure they're kind of done with it, but I'm sure they'll be satisfied with it, with it as well. Plus, I'm ready to see this last Riddick movie. If this is Vin Diesel's last film doing Riddick, playing as Riddick, I think I'm ready to see this Riddick movie. Furia, because it's been about 4 or 5 years now. But yeah, I'll leave your thoughts in the comments. What y'all thoughts on this last Fast and Furious movie? Like I said, it's coming out April of 2027. Going back to street racing, going back to LA. This is going to be a crazy movie. They probably going to have the ZR1. Who knows what kind of cars they're going to have in it? I'm sure this movie's probably going to be 2 hours long. But yeah, y'all, that's it. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Comment, like, subscribe. I'm out.